Hello, my friends. Katie Day with the Move Me to Texas team here with another episode of the Real Advice podcast. I am thrilled to welcome this week's guest to the show. And today we're going to dive deep into the world of not only real estate, but social media and video. And our guest is a broker associate who's been crushing it down in South Florida. He's been in Palm Beach County for almost 30 years, so he knows the place like the back of his hand. He's been in real estate for a while and shares his knowledge and expertise with the world on YouTube and social media, and is constantly showing off the best of what South Florida has to offer. I am very excited to welcome this week's guest, Palm Beach's Paul, otherwise known as Paul Lykins. What's going on, man? How are you today?
Hey, how's it going?
It
Katie
is
Day,
going
back
well.
in my old stomping grounds, Houston, Texas, huh?
I didn't know that you
Native Texan. I grew up in San Antonio and lived in
okay.
Houston around Gessner and Richmond area, like out around there way back in days. Back in 91, 90, I think I moved out of there in 92.
Have you been back at all since then?
My best friend's a realtor down in Friendswood, Texas.
Okay.
And we've grown up together since fifth grade. He's a realtor down there, and he's in Friendswood. So I saw Friendswood. I went and saw him, was it 3 or 4 years ago?
Okay.
And I had my first experience with Buc-ee's. So there's this funny picture of me with, I know the audience can't see it, but behind my screen, I have a Texas flag. Wood one was made out of wood, like, wood framed, whatever,
Yeah.
Texas flag. I bought a bunch of Bucky nuggets, of course, some beer from local breweries.
Obviously.
Excuse me. So I'm walking out. They got a picture of me walking out with all this stuff after 45 minutes in Buc-ee's.
I mean, that's kind of how things are done here. I didn't fully understand it when I first moved here. People are like, oh, you've got to go to Buc-ee's. You've got to go to Buc-ee's. I'm like, okay, it's a gas station. Like, all right, good to know. And then once I, went there, I was like, okay, now I get what all the hype is, so it's definitely something that is fun, but it's crazy to me when I talk to people that, lived here 10 plus, 20 plus years ago, and then they come back to visit. They're like, it's totally not the same place. It's grown so much. I've been here over 10 years, and it's grown significantly.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool city. When I lived there, young guy, I was a sales rep, going out, doing sales calls, building the building, and, in the Galleria area. And I just remember how huge Houston was, and going to all those places in Belmont and just all the little places, driving around the 610, right? 610 loop.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and they were just doing the Beltway back then. I mean, they'd done it. They were expanding it. Now they've got like Beltways on top of Beltways, and yeah, it was interesting. So it's a cool city. A lot of stuff there. But I met a girl and followed her to Florida, and the rest is history.
And that's where we are today. So I know you've been in real estate now for like almost 10 years or
11 years. Yeah. I got in right around 2011. I reached out to a broker. I was doing telecom. I was in the telecom industry doing phone systems and all that, large phone systems. But I'd always wanted to do real estate. I actually took the test back in 2003. Went to school, took the test down in Miami. Back in those days, you had to drive to Miami and do a paper test.
Okay.
And I failed. And I'm like, all right, it's not for me. I obviously didn't study hard enough.
Yeah.
And then it started bugging me around 2010 and bugged me again. And I said, well, let's try it. So I went to school. Went there, took the test digitally, which was cool, right? All online, and passed the second try. I didn't get the first try, but I passed. And I remember calling this broker, and I was like, hey, I want to be in real estate. She goes, great. Call me when you have your license. I'm really busy. Click. So I called her after the house. Hey, I got that license. Oh, okay. Most people never go through with it, but all right.
That's what I was going to say is, most people
come in for an interview. And so I worked there for about 8 years, a place called True Flirting Realty. And super cool friends, like really just honestly, they're like a family there. But then around COVID hit and being stuck at home like the rest of us, I started to look at other brokerages and just seeing what was out there. I thought it was time to expand. So, and then that led me to KW Innovations, which is a Keller Williams company here in Boynton Beach, which is like it's a 2-minute drive from my house. Nice. Not that I go to the office that much, but
if you need to, it's right there.
It's right there. Yeah. For friending purposes.
Yeah. Okay. So, I know you from Facebook and from YouTube, right? We're both in a YouTube, Facebook group and video, real estate video group together.
It's
and
like
so
we're all friends, like this huge group of people that don't know each other, but do know each other because of that group. It's amazing.
For sure, for sure. Well, and so, I mean, I've been following along with what you've been doing for a while. So I don't really know when did you get started in doing video marketing to, get business in real estate?
Yeah. So somewhere around 2017, I was like, okay, I want to be different. I want to do something a little different. So I thought maybe video, right? I'd already seen Facebook, and I saw some people advertise. Everybody was advertising on Facebook and doing that stuff and doing different stuff. And I'd seen the regular videos of homes. I said, well, maybe if I make some videos. I had no idea. Never done a video, never edited in my life, clueless. But I said, all right, let's do it. And so I started messing around. Of course, I went on Facebook and I found our friend Tim Macy's group,
Yep.
RETV. It's like the
Yep.
coolest Facebook group in the history for me. I mean, it was so fun back then. It's still pretty fun. Back then, it was a lot of fun. And Tim and Colin had this, just everybody like, hey, videos where it's at. You guys should be doing it. I'm an older guy, right? I'm 57. So, here's these millennials and they understand the power of social media, and half of them had already went to college and took some kind of media class or something. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I just started seeing these people making videos, and from going to that group and then some other groups, it just started to build, and I just really got into it. And then when I started seeing people making videos and it was actually getting leads and they were getting listings, I was like, wow. So then I just kept playing with it, and eventually my turn came after about a year of making videos. It took a while, but after a year and learning and still learning to do it, people picked up the phone and said, hey, I saw your video about the
Yeah.
pros and cons. We're interested in living there. Can you tell us more about it? And that's when the light bulb went off. I was like, ooh, wow.
I feel like everyone that does a lot of YouTube content, when you first get those first few calls, it's always so awkward because people are like, "Hey, I've watched every single one of your videos, and I'd like to move there." And there's like, I always have that pause, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. Yeah. Let's have a conversation, and I feel very fortunate to have been in RETV and in the YouTube groups and things like that, because everyone kind of shares, okay, well, when you get these calls, here's some questions to ask, here's the things that you should go through with them, A, B, C, D type thing. But I definitely, those first few calls that came in, I was surprised because I had been making content for so long with no calls. That when
Yeah.
it finally came in, it was a nice surprise.
Yeah, my wife used to sit there, and I remember my wife going, how long are you going to do this until you like, are you ever going to get anything out of this? And it took me like 7, 8, 9 hours to edit videos because I had no idea what I was doing. Right?
Yeah.
Days to edit videos. And then when that call came in, and they went and they looked at a $400,000 house, my wife's like, what? And then another call came. And that's, and then just while talking to you before we went on air here, I'm submitting almost another $1 million offer because of YouTube clients that have been following me for 2 years.
Well, and so as far as, content now, right? Like fast forward to today,
Sure.
how often are you putting out videos on YouTube? Is it a weekly video, or what's your?
Yeah. So right now I'm kind of in a little bit of a lull because we went to a wedding in North Carolina and I was a little burnt out. And I decided to take a step back and realize, if what I'm doing is worth the ROI, because it's slowed down a little bit. And I was like, I'm doing this. So, and I have to take a step back and go, we're in a different market now. So what may have worked back in 2020 or 21 isn't working now. So, people go to YouTube to learn, right? It's like, sure, we're a little bit entertaining, we're having a little fun with it. But the reality is they want to know, they want to learn from you and know that you can help them. So I'm trying to look at making some content now, talking about like bringing in people that talk about appraisals, have people talking about insurance, talking about some of the things that are going on, especially in Florida, where insurance is such a nightmare right now for homeowners insurance. It's so expensive. So I'm trying to sort of look at the type of videos that, still show the tours of the neighborhoods, because I know the market's going to change. I know eventually it's going to flip and everyone's going to be like, hey, we're moving back to Florida.
Yeah.
Right? It happened eventually. So I want to be, I always want to be putting those feeders out there, that evergreen content, so that it gets there. Yeah, I've always stuck to about one a week. I sometimes now I'm changing it up a little bit, because what I'm doing now is I'm doing a live stream, kind of like this, a StreamYard.
Yep.
I'll do one on Thursday. And like 2 weeks ago, I had my friend who's a probate attorney come on, or a family lawyer, come on, talk about probate. And being that we have a lot of elderly that live here in Florida, and the kids may live in New York, and if their parents pass away or whatever, what do they do with the house? I had people say, thank you. That was great content. And that video is there forever on my YouTube channel. So they can always go back and watch that when they search it. Unfortunately, when that happens to someone in the family, the next guy I have coming on is my friend who's an appraiser, and I'm going to have him come on this Thursday. We're going to talk about an appraisal.
Nice.
Should you get an appraisal before you list your house? So you really have an idea of what's and all that stuff. So I'll do one live stream. So I give them, and that helps build your audience because you kind of get your audience watching, and people have different time zones who watch. I have a guy who's been watching me over in Europe, and it's funny. He's like, "Yeah, make your stuff earlier for me." So, but he can watch the playbacks. But I'll do a live stream, and then I still push for Sunday at noon,
Uploads.
11 to noon. Because my analytics say that's the majority of my viewership comes from that Sunday, and most of my viewers, because I am an older guy, my viewers are in between 45 to 65 years old. That's the majority of my group. I get a few millennials who want to see what a crazy old guy does on a skateboard, hoping he'll fall off, but that's about it.
Well, that's what I was going to say is your content is a lot of fun, right? Like I know that you enjoy craft beer. I know that you have, is it a longboard and a bike?
Yeah, it's a longboard. I have a beach cruiser that I just rode, took the dog for a bike ride yesterday because for those of you who are not familiar, Florida's been like a miserable heat wave. Well, yeah, y'all know in Texas, it's been really hot. Today we woke up to 60 degrees. I was in heaven. It's blue skies. I actually went and did a video today. I was like, woohoo.
Yeah,
it's like
today's the day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, I ride a beach cruiser. I have this cool beach bike. And I have a longboard that a client gave when I sold their house. She goes, I'm moving to Arizona. It's my ex-boyfriend's. I don't want it. So, okay, sure, I'll take it. And I ride a longboard once in a while. I haven't been on it lately. It's in the summer. It was just honestly, it's too hot.
Yeah,
but
I can commiserate with that.
Yeah, but it's fun. Yeah, I'll ride my board and I'll have the camera and be like, hey guys, today we're going to go talk about my favorite beach here. If you guys are looking for a great beach for 4th of July or just whatever.
Yeah.
And since basically my videos channel has always been sort of a lifestyle channel for anyone who's thinking about moving to Florida, I want to show them like, hey, what do me, my wife, my kids do on a Saturday if we live in Delray Beach? Well, you go to the green market. It's great. It's pet friendly. There's all these vendors. It's a lot of fun. Hey, we're coming down from New York, and what's a good beach to go hang out at? And I'll talk about the different beaches. Some are more crowded. Some are a little less crowded if you don't want to be around people as much. So I try to give them sort of like a tour guide aspect of that. And then I talk about neighborhoods and HOAs and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I think that with so many people that are moving in from out of state and obviously having a lot of retirees that are coming down to South Florida as well, being able for them to be able to see, right, like what the lifestyle will look like and what the area is, because there are so many different cities that people move to, from New York and the Northeast and stuff like that. So I can see where that's successful. Going a little bit like kind of on the tactical side, right? So you have been doing videos for many years now. You've been putting them out almost weekly, right?
Yeah.
And adding in the live streams is a great way to, kind of leverage and add in some additional content. As people are calling you, what type of systems or things have you implemented to ensure that, as you said, like one guy you're working with now, like has been watching your content for over 2 years. So what type of stuff are you doing to either stay in contact or to add value or like intake new people as they call you, to keep everything kind of organized?
Yeah. So, I use a CRM. We at Keller Williams, our office, we have what's called Command. It's a Keller Williams product. We use a CRM. We put people in there. I'll put them into the database, and then either a phone call or an email, touch base with them. Sometimes I'll text them a new video, say, hey, did you see this video? Kind of keeps them reminding them, like, hey, I saw Paul on YouTube, and I'll text them a link to one of my latest videos that I'll remember something about that person, like if they were a water person. I'll be like, hey, the boat show's coming. Like, this is a great thing to check out. So I'll do stuff like that. I've had a couple lead magnets. It's funny. I created this is something I learned from a coach a long time ago. And we all were like, okay, create a lead magnet. So I did this guide, and it's going to click on it. It says, hey, thanks for downloading my relocation guide to the Palm Beaches, blah, blah, blah. I've yet to, every single person that's downloaded it and their emails, only one answered the call. Like, I'll call the number. It's like, no one answers.
Yeah.
You respond to the email. No one answers the email. I'm like, I don't know how that works. So most of the people actually text me. And like I had a guy call me. Interesting. I had a guy reach out to me from Kentucky who used to live down here. Called me the other day. So I was watching her video. I did a video about this high-rise luxury rental community. These are like beautiful condos, but they're rentals. It's right on the waterfront. So it was a good transition for people looking to move here who don't know where they want to buy yet. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's like, hey, I'm not sure where I want to be, but I know I'm on the water. I'm like, yes. And he's like, when he goes, I want to buy another boat. I'm like, yes.
Nice.
But it's a neat. So that guy reached out to me and from watching one of my rental videos and stuff. But I just kind of put them in like that CRM and just, you put them in there and you keep touching them and hope, because some of them were going to buy here. And then when the interest rates went up to Mars, they decided to, hey, Paul, we're going to take a step back and stuff. So, but you have to keep putting those videos out, because if they started watching me, I know they're still watching and they're interested in knowing what's going on down here. So I keep updating them about the changes to Palm Beach County, what new places are opening up, what new events, so that eventually, hopefully things will level out for all of us in the real estate industry. And then they'll start thinking, okay, Florida's, a place I want to move to. Let's reach out to Paul.
Well, and I really like the idea of if they contacted you and say, hey, I watched this video and this is why I'm contacting you, or this is what I'm interested in. When you do another video on a similar topic, sending that over to them, like, hey, just shot this and posted it, hope this can be of value to you type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool.
Something.
Right. Because then they may share it with their friends too. And, they kind of have it. Hey, it's my realtor. Do you see my realtor does? Like, this guy's kind of cool. And I've had people say, hey, I got you because my friend saw you on YouTube. And that's kind of a neat call. But and just trying to stay in touch with them. And I'm trying to work on some different things, to a little bit more, some texting of other stuff to them and staying in touch, just to, the general follow-up.
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I found, I think that with YouTube, it's people are in all different stages of their home buying journey or home selling journey. When they find you on YouTube, like, there are definitely a lot that are like, hey, I've been researching for a year and I'm now ready to buy today. But they're often in so many different stages and provide so much different contact information and stuff like that. You mentioned that a lot of people text you as a, as their contact or as their inquiry. Do you have a specific call to action? I always find it interesting because some people say no call to action. I put everything in the description. Some people say, that they say to schedule a link in, schedule a call with the link in my description, or here's my phone number, just text me. Like, do you have any call to action, or what do you do?
Okay, so that's a great question. One of my weaker points about me, I'm working on that. I was just doing this in my head, in bed the other night, going, okay, when you're in this video, I've seen other agents and other realtors do this, and it's really good. And what I need to do, if you were watching, Katie, would be like, hey, great. I hope you enjoyed watching this video about this unique 55 and older property. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And before you go, hey, click this one here where I show you my 5 favorite 55 and older communities in Delray Beach, or I bet you'll like this one right here, right?
Yeah.
We're binge watching, right? We're pulling them in just like Netflix. I need to work on that, and I usually don't. I usually just do, hey, thanks for watching. Get out, enjoy paradise.
And see you later.
Yeah, right. So, and that's stupid on my part. And after doing this many years, you'd think I would know that. But sometimes you just have to watch other, and I have been lately. I've been going to other channels and watching them. And actually, one of my favorites is our friend Ken Pozick. I mean, Ken to me is the coolest YouTube realtor I've ever seen. He just does this really great job, and his editing and his whole team are amazing. But he's really good at hooking you to go watch the next video and putting that out there. So that's one thing. I used to do the intro at the beginning. We all talked about that in different groups. I said, don't do that. No one cares. The first thing they see is you saying, hey, I'm Paul, and this is what I do, and I'm blah, 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 blah. And they're like,
click.
So usually I'll be like, what I'm trying to do in the videos now is like, something like, does waterfront living interest you? Well, today's video, I'm going to show you the best 5 places, and so, I wanted waterfront living. Hopefully they stick around and watch it. So it's all learning. It's a learning process. And I'm working on that each month.
Well, and I know you said it's a work in progress, but that outro you just did, off the cuff was pretty good. So, I think you're on the right track.
5 times. But yeah, I need to work on that, because if you keep them watching longer, the algorithm, YouTube loves that. And that's the thing about YouTube. It's just like Netflix. They want you to watch the next show. YouTube's the same way, any of them. No one wants you to leave their platform. So if I can get them to watch another video. So in my mind, I actually went and changed my thumbnails yesterday on some of my older property videos that I did, 55 and older, trying to make them a little better looking. And in my mind, I'm starting to think, okay, today we're talking about this. Let's make sure we direct them to this video and that video, instead of letting YouTube just randomly pick the video that they watch.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is it's easy enough to queue up the videos that you would tag, right? of,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
this is the one and this is the other, or even just one, right? Hey, this is the next
Right.
video I think you should watch. So it's easy enough for you to do that, but like the actual verbal you saying it in the script of saying, and hey, if you liked this, here's some more information that you might find valuable is, I think the key that most of us are missing other than Ken Posick.
It is, and it's so hard when you're doing this because like a lot of people see us and don't realize that 99% of us have never done video in our life. We're not expert YouTubers, right? No one is. I mean, maybe a few of the young generation grew up doing stuff, or maybe they did it in school or something. But for most of us, we grabbed a camera and we just muddled our way through it. And we're like, I'm cut.
Yeah.
You're stuttering. You're afraid to talk. I'm Paul. It's like, and
Nope,
good thing
nope,
for
redo
good thing for editing. Go back. And even when I still do it, I think I'm good. I'll go, oh my God, I called it the wrong street 5 times. And my wife's going, you've been on that street 100 times. Why did you call it that when you know it's this? Like,
Yeah.
But
yeah. Sometimes the words and my brain aren't working in tandem.
yeah,
So some video days are way worse than others. But
right.
yeah, it's generally I know what I'm talking about. And then, a camera comes on and I only sometimes know what I'm talking about. I heard someone the other day talking about YouTube, and they said that they basically will intro the topic, like as you said, right? Like you're talking about a specific 55 and up community, or you're talking about this neighborhood, or you're talking about this event or whatever. And then he says shortly after his intro, hey, if you're interested in moving to Palm Beaches, if you're interested in moving to blank, you can book a discovery call in the link in my bio. And then he just hops right into the thing, but it's not the long drawn out one that we all used to do of like,
Yeah,
I'm Katie Day. And if you're looking to buy or sell in the greater Houston area, you can ABCD, here's 5 calls to action. And, people are clicking off the video. So
right.
he said that
No,
that
that's a
works well for him.
smart way to do it. And I do have a Calendly account. Just no one's ever got an appointment. I have it set up where they can do it first initial appointment, and we can go and do an interview. And I want to do that because I want to see them, and I think it's a great way to talk. So it's all about learning it and implementing it. And like you said, that person's doing it, and that's something I need to think about. And you're right, you could spit it off. And by the way, hey guys, if you want to have a one-on-one with me, click the link below. But let's get into the video now, because I know that's what you're doing. Like you can have fun with it. Like, all right, enough selling. I know you want to see that. You don't care about me. Let's go talk about the neighborhood, and eases people. And it's like acting. It really is. We're sort of actors. We're real estate actors. Ooh, there's.
Interesting.
You should have watched Palm Beaches Paul tonight on Fox. Sorry.
I like it. I like it. So completely unrelated. What would you say is your top 3 favorite craft beers?
Ooh.
If I were coming down to the Palm Beach area, what would be the 3 places you would send me to go get a beer?
Well, locally, if I sent you to 3 places locally, one would be Matthews in Lake Worth. Matthews has amazing IPAs. He's some really strong beers. Cool outdoor venue, one of the few places where you can get live music. That's a really cool place. There's Nobo Brewing here in Boynton Beach, small, sort of like a Prohibition era type bar. It's really cool. The guys there, I met them at a brewery before they even had a brewery. They had a beer, and I followed I sort of stalked the owner, like, when are you going to build this brewery? When are you going to build it? And Steve and his brother, Tim, they finally built it. They make some really cool beers. They have a lot of different beers there that they're messing with a lot of sours. Their Honey Blonde Ale is really good. And then probably another really good brewery that I would go to is, oh God, I'm drawing a blank on it. It's down in Fort Lauderdale. It's actually Oakland Park, and they make a really good beer. And I can't think the name of the beer now. For some reason, it's slipping my mind.
Too many beers.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when I do that. But there's so many amazing beers. But it's funny you said that would be locally. But I like a lot of beers. I went to Sierra Nevada. I just went to Sierra Nevada's tour up in North Carolina. We were up in North Carolina for a wedding. And they have a beer, their Christmas beer. It comes out. It's called Celebration. It's
seasonal,
an IPA Celebration. It's just good. It's fresh. Bell's. There's a lot of good beers out there. It's kind of funny. You laugh because you all have to realize that when I grew up, right in 57, we had no craft beer. We didn't. We had Corona. I know when Corona was brand new in Texas. I'm really old, guys. I remember when that was the big thing. Ooh, I got a Corona. So if we wanted something unique, it was like a Grolsch. Or maybe Heineken. So
Well,
But
lucky you now.
oh, I know. Right?
All right, getting back to content marketing, getting back to, real estate. If I were starting a YouTube channel today, right,
Mhm.
with all the knowledge you have now, what would be your advice to me?
It's pretty consistent. They ask this a lot when I talk. Be yourself. Be you. Be genuine to whoever you are, and find your tribe. So if you're a suit and tie guy and you're always a suit and tie guy or lady, and you're high end and you're doing, I remember River Oaks and all those nice areas of Houston, right? You're if that's you, then be that.
Yeah.
If it's not, be who you are. If you're the boat guy, Galveston, Freeport, all those areas down there, if you're the boat guy and you know the waterfront properties, be the waterfront. So, for me, it's like the South Florida lifestyle guy. Like I wear flip flops. I'm wearing them right now. I got shorts on. I got a ball cap. That's who I am. So that's who I put out on film. And that's what connected with people. They all say, you're just like you are on video. And I can't thank them enough for that. Be consistent. You have to stick with it. It's not, it is a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. YouTube is just a long player's game. Long
Yeah.
form content is still very, very viable. I know everyone's into TikTok, the short forms and the shorts, and those are great. But there's been studies that you won't grow any loyalty with shorts on YouTube. You'll get people watching, but you don't really grow a loyal audience versus those who make long form content. And people are searching for this information. So be consistent. Put it out every week that you can. And don't worry about what you look or sound like, because if an old guy like me can do it, and I've seen all kinds of people make videos, every shape, size, color, whatever, they don't care. They
Yeah.
really don't care about you. They just want to know the information that you're providing them is helpful. If you can remember those three things, you can make a YouTube channel and be successful at it. It just takes a while.
And so are you implementing shorts at all on your channel, or are
I did a
you
little, but it's really hard for me because I tried to do this thing with software that cuts up my long form videos and make shorts, and they look like garbage. So I've tried it. It's this AI software. I thought it'd be cool, but it never really comes out that well. So usually when I'm trying to follow some of our fellow friends that are doing shorts and trying to come up with something a little bit better that's more enticing, about maybe like, hey, these are two of my favorite coffee shops. Boom, like that could be done in 60 seconds, right?
Yeah.
This neighborhood or this neighborhood and six. So I'm trying to think of some stuff to do, because really shorts is so hard to, like, you really got to grab their attention in that first second and to keep them even on for 60 seconds, right? It's got to be entertaining enough to do it. So I've messed with them, but I haven't had a lot of success with them.
Well, and so my advice, or what I've heard over time with those, is like, if you're doing short form talking head style content that is clipped, the Munch and Opus and stuff like that, those softwares, the AI softwares, have gotten better to where, you can move the framing around and you can delete out some of the sentences and things like that. So before it was just like, here are your clips and that's it. And now you can
Yeah.
edit them a little bit, so that's slightly better.
So I
But I
haven't
know,
tried it then. Okay. I haven't tried. What's Opus is what I was using.
so I would at least go back to it. I recently used Opus to cut up one of like a market update or whatever, and I was able to cut out some of the sentences, because you know how sometimes like something makes sense as long form, but then when you try to cut it down to 15 to 30 seconds, it's like it doesn't fully make sense. And so I
Right.
took the first sentence and then cut out a sentence or two and then had the last sentence, and
Oh,
that was
cool.
like a cohesive short form thought. Um, but I mean, I think the people that have the most luck with that style of short form is when they're hiring an actual editor. So like I know Dan Parker out in San Diego, he has an editor, a short form editor that's separate
It
from his
sounds
YouTube
just
guy, right?
fire.
That takes
Fire.
it
It's so
and
good.
cuts it up. And he'll also just shoot, if he's doing something on the top five, whatever, he'll shoot a few short forms that are the same topics but different words, right? So he's not
Right.
necessarily cutting up the same exact content, and making that shorter. He's like, okay, if this is what we're talking about, then I'm going to do this video where I'm talking direct to camera. Um, but yeah, it's interesting because I think that people are either all in or not in on shorts with
Yeah.
YouTube.
It's funny. If I've never seen anyone with a cooler studio backdrop than Dan. I
He
love it. It's like he got it is so cool. It just looks so good. Yeah, you did a great job.
Well, he recently moved offices, so his office is now no longer
Oh, he doesn't have that?
no, he's got a new one.
I'll have to go see it. Well, I haven't
So
seen him on his video in a while, so I'll have to go check it out.
yeah, I don't know if he's still got it set up or not, but I know that he is they're moving offices because I've been making fun of him every time I see him on Zoom and he's on, a terrible backdrop.
Oh wow, Mr. Likeable. Dan's cool. Dan's a good guy.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
some neat people in this group. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Well, I appreciate all of your knowledge on YouTube. I think consistency is the biggest thing, and I think once you figure out kind of who your target audience is and who you are, that's when we really normally see success from people in their YouTube journey. So those are definitely really good insights there. All right, I'm gonna hit you with one final question. Knowing
Okay.
that you are a all things South Florida um, guide to people, this will be interesting to see what your answer is. But if it were your last meal on earth, what would you be eating?
Ooh, wow. If it was my last meal on Earth, I would be try eating some kind of fish, like
Okay.
mahi or something.
Yep.
Place called the Square Grouper, not the one that's up here, but there's one down in the Keys because the sunset views are spectacular. And I'd have a rum runner, and I'd have a big slice of key lime pie, and then I would just enjoy that to all in and watch a beautiful sunset. It doesn't get
Hey,
any more South Florida paradise than that.
that's what I was gonna say. That is the most Floridian answer I think I've ever received as far as a last meal. I love it. I love it. Well, I appreciate you and all of your knowledge today. If someone wanted to connect with you on social, obviously YouTube is more of a go watch videos, not necessarily a connection. Where would be the best place for them to connect with you?
Yeah, you can if you do Palm Beaches Paul. Like I think it's weird because it's like at Paul _ beaches _ Palm _ beaches Paul on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, and I'm old. Told you I was old. I'm on Facebook. I know you younger people aren't on Facebook anymore. Y'all
Hey,
like
I mean that's how we've met each other. So don't
I
don't
know,
come
right? Some
don't
of us
come at
still use it
me
for.
on the Facebook.
Some of
I'm
us are
on
still
there all the
there.
time.
I dabble in TikTok, but I'm not. It's just not my thing. I'm worried about editing on YouTube. So pretty much YouTube, and then they can find me and just go to Palm Beaches Paul Palm Beaches Paul at Gmail. So you can find me at Gmail, send me an email there, and yeah, I'm on. Find me out on social media. See me out there riding a skateboard. Say hello. If you're here in South Florida, have a question, reach out to me. I'm happy to. It's funny. I have people going, "Hey, we're staying at a hotel. We're going to a wedding. Where do you recommend?" I said, "Oh, go right down here." So I need to go to the city and go, "Hey, you guys need to like hook me up or something."
I love it. You're the official ambassador, if you will.
Right? Thanks, Katie.
Good deal.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you
Thank you
so
so much
much.
for having me.